team video. Today we want to take a look at most likely my final video for this cup, because I feel like not a lot of people like this cup. I kind of liked it, but this team here went on a 12-game win streak for me. This is a very cool team with only one XL Pokemon, which is the Galarian Weezing, where the XL candy are definitely not rare because it's the same as the Kanto Weezing. So like you definitely can also already have the XL candy for this Pokemon. Pretty achievable team here in general. We're going to have a Giratina Origin in the back there, which had at my first two games the wrong charge move as well, and then I changed the Giratina Origin that I had. So like the first one that you're going to see here, that's going to, okay, it's randomized anyway. The battles are usually randomized, but they're going to be like two battles in there. I think only one where I actually went to my Giratina, the other one I won without using even my Giratina, where I had the wrong charge move, where I then had a Shadow Force, and this one going to be actually kind of funny because they're actually going to be able to use Shadow Force in that video, like in this game anyway. But yeah, you see the AVs of this Pokemon on the right side? It's not really the best. Like, I traded this one before with a double move already, and so I didn't really care too much about the AVs of it and just used it. So here we're going to see a lead against the Giratina Origin. This is something where I swap out immediately. You wonder why? We're going to have like a Fairy type in the lead and a Dragon against us. But we're also going to have two Dragons in the back. This is a team that you don't really see too often, at least, where you have two Dragon Pokemon in the bag for this cup, because yeah, Dragon Pokemon are kinda bad in a Steel plus Fairy Cup, at least you might think this, but not for Flygon and the Giratina Origin. By the way, those battles that I played here are around already like 2 days ago or something, like basically the second day where it was live, basically first day for me, because for me, when the season starts, it's basically 10 PM and I can only do like 6 sets immediately there and then 5 sets immediately afterwards, so it feels like a one long day. But yeah, basically on the first day I battled, like you did those battles here. Made a tweet as well on Twitter showing that I went 12 wins in a row with this team, and in general I did 3 sets with this team and it went 14-1. So this one game that I lost was actually also a game that I could have won, so that kind of shows how good this team is. I could have won 15-0 with this team and most likely go even further. So this is a very strong team. But yeah, as you can see here as well from the ranks here, I'm battling against rank 5 people. I'm currently, right now as I'm talking, in rank 13, which is pretty damn high actually. Like I see a lot of people complaining that they don't have, like that they have Q times actually already at this rank. So these are a little bit earlier games, but that's totally fine here. As we see the Melmetal going to go for the superpower, we're going to be able to shield this one up, and we can take another one pretty easily here. Is this going to do not as much damage? Flygon, a Pokemon that I really was annoyed at me that I even built this Pokemon prior, is actually really good in this cup finally. This is something that I was waiting for a long time. I built this Flygon long ago. It's very expensive because it's a Shadow Pokemon. Normal Flygon would also work, but Shadow's just better. And I was like always like, yeah, cool, this Pokemon is kind of useless for me because it just never does anything. And look at this game here. Like, we just completely destroyed the opponent and made them quit. Isn't this amazing? I think this is amazing. Flygon, one of the best Pokemon here, maybe even the MVP of this team. I actually don't really know. Okay, look at this, by the way, at this nice lag. I wasn't waiting there, the game just didn't work. Had the same, by the way, so today, yeah, we're going to see a reconnection where I actually won a game with a more interesting team as well, which you're mostly going to see eventually in like 2 days or something on my channel as well. But I was not able to throw my charge move later on because the game just didn't let me. I clicked on the charge move button and just did fast moves the entire time until the opponent went for their own charge move, which was not what I wanted to. So the game is pretty broken still. It's kind of annoying to have those kind of issues here, but here we will be able to catch a charge move from the opponent, which is going to be the Hydro Cannon, going to be resisted on our Giratina. And Giratina is such a cool core-breaking Pokemon, as you can see already. We saw the Empoleon, and we see now the Escavalier, which sadly goes for the bait move here with the Acid Spray. But both of those Pokemon you're going to be completely breaking with this Pokemon here. As we have to shield this next move up, it's going to be the Doron this time around, and we can overfarm a lot. And here, this was the game with Shadow Force. Because of Shadow Force, I had to play this game a little bit differently. Go for the swap into my Weezing, go for the overheat here. Luckily, they didn't go for the other charge move, otherwise I would have needed to go for the bait. But now we have the Empoleon against us, and it's going to be an interesting one. Shadow Force is coming through here. Is this enough to knock them out? Whee! Flying through the room here, but it's actually going to be enough to farm down afterwards. I didn't want to use Shadow Force here. Maybe I should have kept it just for the memes, but Shadow Force on Giratina Origin literally doesn't make any sense at all. Shadow Ball is just straight up better, and like it takes this energy, and it's just like, yeah, the difference for this Pokemon is so huge. Shadow Force can still have some play, at least at the altered version, but for the origin version, Shadow Force is something you should never play because you have Shadow Ball, which you don't have on the other one. So yeah, we're going to be able to go for an Earth Power here against the opponent's X-Cat roll, forcing a shield. Nope, we're going to force the knockout here, which is even better. As we're going to face here the opponent going into a Dragon, let's us go for one Dragon Claw. You see how good Flygon is. And Dragonite we can farm down with our Weezing, which is amazing because Weezing is honestly such a strong Pokemon here right now. In the lead, this Pokemon was so nice, as we will be able to go for an Overheat against whatever came just in. I didn't look in the top right. It wasn't Escavalier. That's very nice of me because we can hit another Overheat as well. And just say goodbye to this Pokemon. As the Duran going to find our shield, this Overheat going to easily knock them out, even though we're double debuffed. We don't care about that one. We see the Dragonite coming in, and we can also see the Dragonite going out of here again. Next opponent, rank 10 here already. It seems like we're climbing those ranks pretty easily. We see a Solgaleo in the lead. Something that I completely didn't think about is I think always like Solgaleo has fire type moves. I think it's always like Heatran, Fire and Steel, but no, it's Psychic and Steel. Means that actually an Overheat would knock them out, and this makes the matchup way better for us as we see a Weezing coming in, and we can also see the Weezing going out again. Bye there. This is the cool thing about Flygon as a safe swap in this current meta. The fairy types that are currently available, like they're not all good against this Pokemon. Slurpuff is basically the only one that's like kind of the normal fairy type matchup, but you even see here with Tapu Fini, we can still even threaten here maybe a shield against them. We got already a lot of damage against them, but here look, we knocked out one fairy and got the other fairy super low, allowing us to farm them all the way down and catching the move here on our Galarian Weezing, going to be a Moonblast as well. What a flex, as we're going to be able to even reach the Overheat here. This Overheat is coming through and going to get shielded, which allows us to go for one Shadow Ball, and we can say goodbye to the opponent Solgaleo. And the Tapu Fini is going to go down as well, winning with 2 shields as well here. Amazing. Next opponent, Zacian. If you saw the video prior that I did for this cup with the Melmetal, you know already that Zacian was one of the Pokemon that I feared the most. It was like one of my only losses with the team prior, and this is going to be an interesting one here. We see the Melmetal coming in, allowing us now to farm them all the way down with our Flygon. We're going to shield up the Superpower because I kind of wanted to keep some health here. In hindsight, this was the wrong decision because now we would be able to go down from one player from the opponent, but we're actually going to be able to go for the bait here, going to be able to go for one Earth Power as well. Gonna get both shields from the opponent. We're going to let this move go through here maybe. No, we're actually going to shield this move up. It's going to be a close combat. They don't run the player off, it seems like. They're running close combat and Wild Charge, which is an interesting one. Allowing us now to go for one Dragon Claw against whatever came in, a Giratina, but this is the altered against the origin version. Let's take a look on who is going to be able to win this one. Shadow Sneak coming through, Shadow Ball coming through, and Shadow Ball going to knock them straight out of here, as we will be able to go ahead and hopefully still win this game. This is going to be close. I should have went for the Omnius Wind. I don't know why I didn't do that. Wild Charge coming through here, actually going to knock me out. I thought I would be able to survive that one. Let's see, can we still get to a move? We can easily get to a move with our Weezing here. Weezing is going to breeze through that and going to be able to overheat them all and going to knock them straight out of here. Next opponent, Giratina coming in. This time around against this Giratina you stay in because this Giratina's main damage source is a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is resisted, double resisted here of course, while for the Giratina Origin it's a different story when they go for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is just doing more damage. But my opponent is running Shadow Force for whatever reason, which is very wild, as we're going to be able to go into our Flygon now. But sadly, our player off didn't get them close enough to the KO range then that I thought here at least. As my opponent actually still gets to another charge move here, I'm going to have to double shield here, and this is going to be a horrible story for us. This is not looking good here. We are basically one Pokemon dead. We were 2 shields down, but like 1 shield down, but now we're going to be able to be at least at even shields while they catch a Dragon Claw as well. This looks really horrible here for me right now. I can go for the Earth Power and get them low, but there's not a lot that I can do about this one here. We see these two have coming through, and it's going to knock us straight out of here, allowing us to go into our own Giratina. And now it's the farm down. Hopefully, is this a Surf? Is this a Moonblast? It is a Surf, which is going to be good for us, as we will be able to farm them all the way. We see the Melmetal coming in. That's going to still be a close match up for us, as we can go for one Shadow Ball here to hopefully going to put them into range where we can knock them out. But we're actually going to be able to catch the Dranclaw here onto our Weezing, allowing us to farm them down. We will be able to take at least a one charge move from the MEweedle. They have double Iron Bash, and I can go for the Shadow Ball to knock them straight out of here. Else it's going to be an easy knockout. Next opponent coming in, we see Giratina again. Same stuff here, I don't expect them to have Shadow Force, but I'm going to stay in as well against this opponent's MEweedle. I forgot again that they have double Iron Bash, like I don't forget of course, but like it's something that you don't really think about when you think about MEweedle. If you had it the entire time with the Rock Titan Superpower, you don't really expect them to always use the new move immediately here, because you have to buy the ticket, you have to go ahead and evolve a new Pokemon basically for this cup here to get this one. If you want to know how good the double Iron Bash MEweedle is in this meta, I posted a video about this Pokemon yesterday, and this was also a very strong team, so maybe it would be a team for you as well. But this team here is definitely way more accessible, because we don't even use the best Pokemon in the meta, which is going to be the Registeel of course, but we will be able to use the Giratina here to get the final shield by my opponent. I can go ahead and go into my Weezing, and as long as they don't ever go through it with the Shadow Force again, we should be fine. They're gonna go for the Shadow Sneak, that's why I went for the shield here, by the way. I was fearing the Shadow Force, like after this one, this was like kinda a trauma for me, but we see the Excadrill coming in, and the Excadrill is overfarming by a little bit too much, as they didn't expect us to get to the overheat immediately, knocking out the next one, and the Flygon going to be able to easily clean up the opponent's MEweedle here. Good game and there. Most I should have played this a little bit differently, by the way, because I only won there because my opponent made a mistake. If my opponent just went straight for the charge move with their Excadrill, it might have been a little bit of a different story, so maybe I should swap out earlier next time around. But this is something to discuss for another day. We will see here the opponent going for one wild charge here. If you wonder, oh, why did he shield here against the Magnezone? Doesn't make sense. You have a Dragon type. They're going to have most likely the Mirror Shot and the wild charge. They could also have the Flash Cannon. I think in this meta, Flash Cannon might be the better move to go, because we just have Pokemon like the Weezing that really don't want to get hit by the Flash Cannon. So that's why I just went for the safe shield here. What is not as safe here is the matchup for me against the Slurpuff, as they're going to be able to knock me out, but I will be able to take some advantage of this one here as well, as I can farm them all the way down with our Weezing, allowing us to get to playoffs later on, as well as the overheat. Overheat is coming through here immediately, and I made a mistake again. Should have maybe, oh maybe not for this Pokemon. Maybe should have stayed in here against the opponent's Escavalier, because I would have been able to knock them out immediately. Like this, we can go for one Shadow Ball, gonna get them low here, and that's going to still be a very good matchup. There's nothing they can go for. They're going to knock me out here, and we will be able to knock them out. Omnious Wind coming through, we will be able to go for this one here now, and this Ominous Wind going to be able to knock out the Slurpuff. Next opponent, Weezing against Giratina. I know that this trainer reached out on Twitter to me and said that my Flygon was pretty nasty to them, so let's see what our Flygon can do here. We will be able to go ahead and go for one overheat. We will be able to go ahead and go into our Flygon now. And this Pokemon will of course have to shield against the opponent's Play Rough. But our fast move is the same basically as the opponent's, but we can get to our charge boost a little bit faster. Earth Power needs less energy than a Play Rough, and they have to go for the Play Rough to knock me out here, and they will not go for the bait move anyway. So we can get rid of this Weezing here pretty easily with the Flygon. Goodbye there. And of course we're going to be able to do some damage against the opponent now as well, with some Dragon Claw damage against this opponent's Giratina. But again, they forgot that we get to the moves way too fast, and now we're going to be able to get them super low. As you can see here, Flygon was pretty nasty, as we can go ahead and now get into our Giratina, I would say. I go into my Giratina, I think I would speed them to the Shadow Ball still. They're going to forfeit there, so yeah, I would have been able to outspeed them to the Shadow Ball, would have then swapped out most likely and had a better time. As we see now, the next game here, I thought this was most likely going to be it where my streak going to die, because we got completely hardwalled from the get-go here with the Togekiss against us now, which is a very bad matchup for us. As we can see now, the Weezing going to be able to still tank one charge move here from the opponent. We can go for one Play Rough here. And this move coming through, going to knock out the opponent, and we can get the Escavalier in against us. We can go for one more charge move here to hopefully knock them out, but they're going to shield, of course, and we have to swap out of here. I expect them to go for the acid spray now, so I'm going to no-shield the first one, and it's going to be the acid spray. We have to call it at this point of time, because we're so far behind at this game. We're going to have to shield up the next move, which is going to be the drill one, so far so good. We actually lose CMP against an S-Cavalier here, which I didn't expect with our Giratina. The MEweedle is coming through here, and we can go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball now. Shadow Ball going to do some nice damage, but we still have to be a little bit careful because we're debuffed from the acid spray. I have to shield up the first move here. Going to be the double Iron Bash. I'm going to swap out immediately, and I'm going to be able to catch the next charge move here. Double Iron Bash going to knock out our Pokemon, but now it's MEweedle against the Giratina. We are not debuffed anymore, and this next Shadow Ball going to send them home. Goodbye there, as we're going to still need 2 more Shadow Claws, but I want to do it a little bit more dramatic here, but still fine. Next opponent, we're going to see a Giratina Origin. You know the drill. We're going to swap straight into our Flygon, getting out a Ninetales. So far, so bad. This is going to be the game that loses us our win streak. And the issue is here, A, we got completely hardwalled in this game. Like, this is the first thing which loses us our win streak. But B, we actually had a chance of winning this, which is kinda sad. Like, this was a complete hardwall here so far. There's nothing that I can really do about this. I could have, of course, stayed in the lead there, but I didn't know what they had in the back, and usually it's a better play with a double Dragon Line to try to bait out a potential Fairy type in the back. But, yeah, as you can see here, it's going to be not the best one. We will see the Omnius Wind coming in there. And what is better than one Fairy? We're going to see here, we're going to go for an Ominous Wind. And as we can go ahead, shield up the next move from the opponent, they're going to go for the Shadow Ball. We're going to see another Fairy. So yeah, this is basically how this kind of ended. And the issue is here though, it could have went way better for me. I should have just stayed in here and should have just went for another, what's called Shadow Ball. I'm pretty sure I would have reached that, but I thought I would be able to just catch the move there and thought they would get it one earlier. But I just misplayed this. If I just threw my Shadow Ball and then swapped out, I would have been totally fine and could have won this game. So it was my own mistake. And this is how my 12-game win streak ended. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this helped you. Maybe this is a team that you want to play. And I hope I see you in the next video. Bye.